Hello, this is a note about viewing ASCAT graphic data on, well, various ways, but the method I'm going to show here is in qtVlm, but I'm basing this on a KML file, so it'll obviously show in Google Earth as well. But and I'm doing this because I have a video on this now, and I just ran across it, and it's kind of old. And well, it's old in one sense. ASCAT A is no longer used anymore, so it's just ASCAT B and C. So anyway, let's look at that real quickly. So here's the data, just to show what we're looking at. Here is the ASCAT data. You can always find that. Just go on to Google and type ASCAT, A-S-C-A-T, and I think you get, there's the first, there's a right there, it's the first link. So that always works, and it looks like this. Here's the data we're looking at, B and C, and I'm going to look at this region of the Bermuda race. We have some students now involved. They're going to be doing that race, and so we've been looking at that. So I'm going to look at this area right here, and that's where we made the custom files. And so this is B, and it looks like there might be some data here on B on the descending pass. The satellite's going this way, descending. The Earth is rotating that way, so they're bent. But these satellites are actually in polar orbits going up and down like that. Likewise here, they're ascending. The Earth's going that way, so the paths bend. So that's so there's nothing there. Now I go to C. What do we see on C? In C, and this is the moment, these pictures here, let's see, and there is some data on C, which is C descending. So those are where that's where there's data right now in that region. This is updated every hour. We have a lot of articles that explain how this all works. There's a big long chapter in our book Modern Marine Weather about this. But so this is the data, and these are that's the, I think this is the most recent pass, and that's the latest. I have to take a look at that. And they'll just be filling in that way. So in an hour, okay, so I'm going to do this now, and now we got the data's a little bit old here. We'll see here. Well, for example, if I just go here, I'm on the website now. See, if I click that, see, it's going to tell me this latest data was at 1339, but let me remind you, this page here is updated every hour. That shows all the passes that went by every hour, but it's showing them for the past 22 hours. So when we look at a page like this, we look at this data here. This data is 1339, but this page was February 20th at 1 o'clock. Right now, it's like 2 o'clock Zulu, 2 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. This page was updated at 1. It's going to be updated very shortly. I better get cracking if I want to get the, well, okay. So, but this is on the 20th, going back 22 hours. So that means this time, 1339, had to be in February 19th. So the UTC that this data here is valid, that we want to compare with the GFS model or some other model, we would be comparing this data to 1339 UTC February 19th. If this time, let's say this said, let's say it says 1339. Let's say I'm now some, 8 or 10 hours from, no, not 10 hours, it'd be 15 hours from now, this is going to say 1600 and something, right? 1600 and something. And then this is 13, so that would be today's date. That's the way that works. That's discussed in the book. This timing is something one has to keep their eye on. All right, so that's what we're after. So I can get rid of this for the moment and go into qtVlm. And the way that this works is I have made these files, and I'm going to put a link to the files. Let me go here. Okay, so I'll show you in a moment. So we go to, here's the program, and it's under GRIB, Weather Images, open a weather image. Now here's 8 places to store the data. And what I've done is I've stored the 6 of these for the Bermuda race. Actually, plus there's this northern one up here. Let's just go up here to this random. Let me just show how this works. I'm going to go to number 6, say. Number 6. And it doesn't have any identification. So I'm going to browse. And then here's Bermuda. Let me go up to my ASCAT, the key. I want to get just to illustrate this. Oh gosh, I hope I get one with some data. Maybe that would be C descending. Let me just take this one, C descending, and say OK. Now, I've loaded that file. So the key issue is having these files. But these files are permanent. You don't have to make them once. You can copy the ones that we made and use them forever. OK, then after you've loaded it and I've assigned it to section 6 or configuration 6, now you activate it. It's activated. Now I say OK. Now this will be the one on the top up here at the north end. The ones we're going to look at in a moment are down here. So I just wanted to show how this works, and these are now the data. This is valid at 1516, and it's from a data set of 02, February 20th, 02. So this data here is valid at 1500 yesterday, Zulu, 1500 on 2/19. Well, actually, it's still 2/19 today, but in Greenwich Mean Time, it would be February 20th. It would be February 19 at 1513. Okay, so let's not look at that. Let's look at the one we were going to look at down here at the bottom. But at the start, you may want to. Where's the start? Somewhere in here. So this is a way to check the models up here around the start. Up around the start. And again, it's hit and miss when there's going to be data, when there's not going to be data. That takes a little more study. But these are truth meters. This wind is real satellite. That's not a guess of what it is. That's not a forecast. That's what the wind actually was at this time. And let me go on to another one. Okay, so I go to Grib, weather files, open a weather image, and which one do I want? Let me take B, number 3. I'm looking at my notes here. It's B descending. I put in number 3. B descending. Perfect. Activate that one. Turn it on. Okay. Now, let's say this is the one. And again, see here throughout this whole part, here's the race course from here to here. So there's not anything particular. But I could be interested in the winds around this area, and I want to test the whole idea of this. Well, first of all, it tells you the winds, but it's going to tell you the wind's pretty old. This is going to be old here, but in an hour or two, we're going to get actually pretty fresh data. But let me just go through the example here. This is the data at 1427 on February 20th. Now, the thing is, when you've missed it and it's old like this, then, for example, if I went here and just wanted to look at the Grib file, and I just did this and say, oh, no, wait just a minute, I don't want that. Shift. Let's just say here, and I just want to look at the GFS for that. I can hold that button down and say load to partial Grib like that. That's a fast way to get Grib data in the program. But here's what the problem is. I want February 19th at 14 that. And you see the latest model is 1800 on the 19th. So I've missed it. So there's a couple ways around that. Because you still want to you're testing the model to see how well it's doing and so forth. And if I do want to look at something older than that, let me just show you a trick you can do. Just define your region again that you want, and then go in here and say get it from Sail Docs, and we want a wind and just like 2 days, that's all. And I'll get the isobars just for the heck of it, and then say send the mail. Okay, now that's going to create a mail. Now here's all, and this is, if I did this, it's going to send me back exactly this. It's going to be the latest one at 18Z. But you do a trick here. SailDoc saves this data for about, maybe 10 or 20 days. So you can go in here and put a bar, that's a shift, that's a bar key, and then just put file equals 2022 02 1912 12 Zulu. So you see that's going to say send me back that file, that GFS, but make it start on the 12th. I want the model run from the 12th. Okay, so there you go. Send. That's explained in our textbook and at their help file. Then when that comes back, you say that'll come back in an email in about a minute or two. Then what you can do is then just go up here, and then I've downloaded that. I just got that file offline here a minute ago, and then I saved it where I've got these files. So then you can just go here and open, and that's what it looks like coming back. You see it's got a 12Z out here in the back end of it. And then you say open. Open. So now you see the grid file that's loaded here. If I go back to what's the beginning of it, it starts at 12Z. So then I can go in here to make my comparison. What's my comparison? That's 1427. So I got to set the grid file to 1427. So hit this clock and then go up here 220. Oh no, I don't want 220. I want 219. 19. Wait a minute. Let me hit up. Down. Wait a minute. Okay, let me just get something in there. Okay, 219, 2022, and it's 12 o'clock. I don't want 12 o'clock. I want specifically. Why isn't that deleting? Okay, I want what do I want? 1427. 142700. Okay. Now you see. Now what I'm doing is look at this time up here in the corner. I'm looking at the grid files only every 3 hours, but these computers can interpolate it. So it's interpolated between. Let's see, 12 and 15. There's a 12 o'clock run forecast, and there's a 15 forecast, and then this is just time-wise has interpolated it. Now I can go in and compare the model. Okay, so let me just let's see what we. Oh, okay. So here's something. Go back and look at this. This is the gray. This is the color bar that tells you the wind speed for the ASCAT data, and that's a pretty good if you do things like, look, blue to green, right in the blue to green zone is about 15. So in this, let's go in here. Oh, and then on this machine, we're going to read down in the status bar what the wind is down here. So blue to green, see, this is not that good up in this area. But again, keep in mind, this is about, right now, well, we have to compare it to what we're comparing. 14 to 12. Well, for the life right now, it's 10 hours ago. This is information 10 or 12 hours ago. But it's actually comparing a 14 Zulu satellite measurement to a 12 Zulu computation. So those are actually, fairly close. But now but you just have to. The idea is just to get a feeling: is this thing doing about the right job? And what do we have here? You go up here and you got green to yellow is about 20. Green going into yellow is about 20. So I'm going to move this cursor and then read what it says down the bottom. 21, 21, 20.9. 21, 21.8, 21, 20, 20. So you see green to yellow, that's about right. Now this one should be more like 15, green to blue. So here, there's 15, 15, 14, 15, 15.6, so forth. And then, and so forth. So that's the way that you compare the model forecast to the truth meter. This is what the model thinks the wind ought to be. What's the model here says 26, 27, and we're in the sort of like the orange, 26, 27, that's about right. Okay, so it's a way to just verify that your model's doing the job for you. And then you can project that, well, if it's doing it right here, chances are it's pretty good here and so forth. And then other times you'll get more data. And you have to you have to read and think about how often these can be. You'll get useful data maybe twice a day on any event, on any race here, any route, any place on Earth, you're going to get good data that's useful to you on some level twice a day. Not more often, but twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. And that's it, period. And sometimes it's really useful and spot on the money and telling you exactly what you want, what the wind is. And other times it's just off on the side confirming the model. But this technique of loading these custom-made KML files into qtVlm is a nice way to do it. I'm sure other programs might have a way to show that as well. But I'm going to stop there, and then I'll put a link in the description about where you get these KML files for the Bermuda race. I've got the top ones and also the bottom ones, and all 6 of them in each case. Oh, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop this video and save it. And then if I keep awake here and I come back, and then I'll take some data and show that you can actually get data that's fairly close. Keep in mind that the newest you're ever going to get these model forecasts is 4 or 5 hours. So 4 or 5 hours is you say I don't want something 10 hours old. Well, keep in mind your very best in life of any kind of comparison is 4 or 5 hours. Okay, I'll come back. So I'll see if there's some we can add later on.